why your deals are falling through. You practice this before you even go out and talk to the seller, because the moment you fumble is the moment they know that you're trying to follow a script. It's crazy how people don't understand that. Mucho loco. My business was at risk of failure until I changed this one thing. Welcome back to the channel, guys. My name is Ron Rana, and in today's video, I'm gonna break down on the negotiation tactics to close your first or next deal. Coming from the automobile industry, I spent 11 years of my life mastering the art of negotiating and closing the deal. I have also trained car salesmen to do the exact same thing, and I brought the exact same tools into my business to build a multi-million-dollar real estate portfolio. And my team today is using the exact same strategies to close multiple deals a month. So stay tuned in the video, and I'm gonna break down what types of strategies and tactics we use. So the first thing that I'm gonna talk about is presentation and why it's key in order to close your deal. First things first, I'm gonna teach you guys how to present yourself to the seller so they know, like, and trust you. Next, I want to break down what types of questions that you need to ask the seller in order to get to the next level. You're going to want to know the motivation for the seller. The number one question that you need to ask your seller is, why are they looking to sell? What is their motivation and how you can solve their problem? Remember, those who solve the most problems always win. The seller is going to go through different problems, such as a death, a divorce, a probate. They're gonna inherit a property. Maybe it's a job loss. Maybe their house caught on fire. Whatever the problem is, always remember, you shouldn't present yourself as an investor. You should always present yourself as a solutions provider. Every time a seller asks us, are we a real estate investor? We usually come back with the answer of no, we are in the business of solving problems. Remember, the more problems you solve, the more money you're gonna make. The next question that you should be asking, which is really important, is the timeline to close. Your seller is on a timeline or a deadline. Either their house is gonna get foreclosed on, or they need to be out of the property by a specific time frame. You need to know this in order to know how to structure your deal properly. If this is going to be a wholesale deal, if it's going to be a fix and flip deal, if it's going to be a buy and hold deal, or if this is going to be a creative finance deal such as sub 2. You need to know how to get to the finish line so you don't fall on your face and lose the deal. Because the worst thing that can happen is the seller will lose confidence in you, and that's the last thing you want to happen. The next question that you should ask your sellers is, are they the only decision makers on this property? Because the last thing you want to do is a disgruntled ex-wife or husband to come back and tell you no. So you want to make sure that you're asking the seller if they are the only decision maker, because that can make or break your deal. We'll touch a little bit more on that later. The key to being a successful closer is relaxing. Bro, chill. You don't have to rush the seller through the paperwork. You don't have to get through any timeline. You're on the seller's timeline. If you don't relax, the seller will lose confidence in your ability to close. The next thing I would like to talk about is mirroring the seller. Now, what you're gonna do is, if the seller has high energy, you better go out and find some high energy to mirror that seller. Mostly, sellers don't have all this energy that I'm projecting right now on the screen. They will be a lot more calmer, so you're gonna want to mirror the seller's body language, energy, enthusiasm, and understand where they're coming from. Because remember, people do business with people they like and trust. So if the seller sees you as a mirror image of them, they're gonna wanna sell you the property. The next thing I wanna talk about is, don't be too salesman-y. If you're a salesman in front of the seller, they're gonna smell you a mile away. People don't wanna be sold, they wanna be told. You have to provide the right information to your sellers so they make an informed decision on how they would like to sell you their property. One of the easiest ways to get constructive criticism is practice your script in front of your friends, your spouse, your parents. Get somebody. For me, it was pretty easy. I used to practice my script in front of my spouse, and she would give me back constructive criticism. When I used to read my script, I used to go in a very soft tone, and she would tell me, Ron, that's not how you really speak. Why are you softening your tone? I'm like, yeah, you're right. So now when I talk to sellers, I'm more upbeat and my personality shines every time. Remember, you gotta mirror the seller and you gotta make sure you're getting constructive criticism from the ones that love you and you love them. If you don't have anyone that loves you, so if you don't have anyone that loves you, don't worry. Make sure you go. If you don't have anyone that loves you, don't fret. At the end of the day, you want to make sure that you're practicing your script in front of yourself also, because you are going to be the biggest critic. Grab a camera and make sure that you're recording yourself, how your tonality is, how your body language is, how you're presenting yourself. You need to make sure you're writing down notes as you go in either a notebook or your phone, so that way you can work on your presentation skills. Because this is all about presentation, right? When you're negotiating a deal with a seller, it's gonna be, 90% luck, 10% skill.